What up, everybody? We are back. Sideline Specialist, episode number 30. The NFL playoffs have begun. The Sixers have taken away all of my mental health. I am now obviously in a hostage room with nothing on the walls. And we talk about some of the coaching carousels going on. Jerry Jones also keeping people hostage until their contract is up, and much more. So, without further ado, let's jump into things.
Welcome to Sideline Specialists.
We are back. What's going on, Tom? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm vibing.
Love to
Having a
hear
good
it.
time.
And we got Shaq in the building again. What's going on, Shaq? How you doing? We appreciate you joining the show, brother.
Let's go, Shaq. Yeah, just playing. I've been gaming all day. I've done nothing useful whatsoever except cook dinner. I did that.
I'm jealous.
I did that. So yeah, it's my one. It's like literally my one day off this week. So I was like, let me just do that.
I would have loved to do that because I truly did not want to drive all the way to work and then drive home when the snow has already been going for a few hours and people can't drive anymore.
Oh,
that just
You get back on the road and you're like, wow, where did everyone's brain cells go? Where'd they go? Yep.
Right out the window.
Always.
Shaq says, great man, glad to be here. Glad to hear it. And he also says same here. So he's been gaming too. Shaq, what you play? We gotta know
what you've been doing.
We both play a bunch of different things.
Same.
So
yeah, we vibe out in so many genres. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. I've just been my latest has been the new Call of Duty Zombies. They have some great maps on the new one and some great quest lines and Easter eggs. Not gonna lie, the latest map, the wonder weapons are swords with specials.
He's you.
Played a bunch of COD today. Okay, there you go. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I was on War Thunder first, and then switched over to Arena Breakout Infinite because extraction shooters are goated.
I do like an extraction shooter.
Well, it's like I've played Escape from Tarkov for so long,
right?
But that game just sucks your soul out of your asshole. It's like a reverse Dementor. Like it's just not what you want. And then I think Landmark, one of my the bigger streamers for Tarkov, I saw him playing this and was like, oh, so the graphics are better, the movement's better, the gun modding is basically the same, and the economy's better. Well, there you go, done. And I haven't touched Tarkov since, and I haven't even thought about it. I'm like, I'm good. Found a bunch of streamers I liked for this game, got killed by one, which was really hilarious. Yeah, I was playing with a group of my buddies, and then there's thermals in this game, same as Tarkov. Run out the back door of this house, aim, see a dude, dead, just instantly. And I'm like, but I saw the name come up, and I was like, you fuck. As soon as I saw it, I was like, why did I have to run into you? Because he's so good. Went on his stream and just said GG, nice shot. Because it was clean, but I was just like, the community's cool.
Right.
Because what I like about this game is you can, when you queue up, max squad size is 4, whereas Tarkov is 5. But it'll find you teammates, and my whole friends list is people I've just randomly found.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've probably got 50 plus hours with a couple of them now. Literally, it's just anytime we're on, we just group and go. So,
see, that's cool. Shaq says, which game is this? I'm intrigued.
Okay, so just go on YouTube, look up Arena Breakout Infinite. The original Arena Breakout was actually a mobile game, and it got so popular that they decided to make it into a full PC one. And it's genuinely extremely good. There's like, I think what we got now, we got four maps. So we have 4 maps and then a new one coming very soon. 3 different game modes. So there's normal, lockdown, and then forbidden. Normal, you can wear anything. Forbidden, you have to pay 20,000 currency to get in and have a base equipment value of 100K. And then for forbidden is nuts. Forbidden is 50K buy-in and then 300K minimum.
Jesus.
But I have a couple kits in my inventory right now that are worth like 1.3 mil. So,
my God.
But the thing with this game that will get you, like you'll get upset on occasion, is the king in this game is what ammo you have in your gun. So like you could have tier 6 armor and a tier 6 helmet, which is easily the best, and you'll tank most things. And then you run into a dude with a fucking Mosin, but he's got tier 7 ammo and he shoots straight through your fucking head. Just like you had nothing on. But it is like a point of don't put yourself in a position to get hit by that.
Right.
But it's like you have to think tactically. The audio is amazing. So like if someone's creeping next to you, like you'll hear it if you're listening. But you have to be paying attention and you have to kind of understand the audio. That's why I love it though. And I'm actually 1 rank away from max rank.
Damn.
Yeah.
Can you hear all that stuff in the background, by the way, from my side? All right.
Absolutely nothing.
Because it sounds like they're like leaf blowing the snow along with driving trucks around right now. So
I love it.
But the way you were just saying about finding all those friends just from like playing, like that's how Destiny used to be. But now Destiny's literally on the verge of complete death. Even though every like 2 months they've always said like the game's dead, but it never was. But like this time, it's literally teetering on the cliff.
Well, it's like, ooh, okay, I have an ungodly amount of hours in Siege. You would like this game if you like Siege. The lean mechanics are similar. The map design is really, really good. Like every map feels really different from another. Like that's what I like. That's like my biggest compliment I can give them is no 2 maps feel the same, like at all. And each one offers a full different kind of like there's specific areas that all the players that spawn in are going to want to go. So if you're more into loot, you're probably going to want to avoid those. But if you're in it for like I am for the combat, then your face disappeared. What happened?
Yeah, I just went to the window real quick to see what the fuck is going on.
Oh, gotcha. It's Ed Shack. It's free to play. It's a free to play game. So like
free to play is always nice.
You can just you could just literally check it out. And if you hate it, then you move on. But
the 2 games I'm about to try are Baldur's Gate, the newest one.
Okay.
And then the free monthly games for PlayStation. One of them is the Suicide Squad game. So I'm about to just try it out just because it's free, just to see what that was like. It says it's on like season 6, and I was like, oh, it's a season structure to this game? I never even knew.
Okay. Well, that's ABI does that a little bit. Like they'll have a season, your battle pass, and then there's like that's how the rank is. Like it's your season rank.
Gotcha.
So it resets obviously at the beginning of whenever next season is, but they run like they run events. So right now the event's called Storm Warning. It's like farm is one of the maps, but in this event it's like it's fucking pouring rain outside, like
Okay.
monsoon levels. So you have to like not wear a face shield or not wear a gas mask because it like your vision gets obscured by literally like the rain that would be on it.
Damn.
Yeah, so you like that's what makes this mode to me interesting is like you you go for headshots because nobody's wearing that shit.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool. I like that.
it's
I like that aspect.
yeah. Well, and like the armor works. Like if someone has a helmet that's decent and you're trying to shoot them in the back of the head with shit ammo, guess what? You're not going to do anything. Like that's like you'll eventually damage the helmet enough that it doesn't work anymore, but you have to hit it like 20 times.
I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
good shit.
cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, anyway, we will bring up our wild card reactions here. Before we get into the full reactions, I did want to just, as a refresher, we'll start off with your bracket here. This is what you had from last episode.
I
It
mean,
looks like
I'm proud of myself on the right side.
the only one you got wrong was the Chargers.
Yeah, but I like that I nailed the NFC perfectly because obviously
You did.
as a fan of an NFC team, that was the conference for me. I'm like, I pay attention to them more. I hope I get that one right if I'm gonna do anything. But
I think
the,
mine's real fucked up. Let's see.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The Chargers let us both down because
Yes,
they were
did.
like they were ahead, and we were like, oh, this looks pretty good, and then they just were not good at all in any way. So
Yeah, and I really thought Baker was gonna like really show out. Not that he had a bad game. I don't think he had a bad game or anything, but I thought he was really
yeah,
gonna like do something crazy.
I
But
agree.
speaking of which, we can just start with that game because that game was the only one that was like close, really at all.
Yeah. It was still weird though, because like when you just look at the numbers, like obviously Baker had that one fumble and he fully took responsibility and just said like that is a thing that can never happen again in my career. Like and full kudos to him because that's who he is as a player. He's not gonna bitch out and be like, oh, blah blah blah. Like he was
Right.
like, it's my fault. We lost. But that was their only offensive turnover, and Baker only had 18 passing attempts.
Right.
It just a weird game. He had I mean 15 completions for 185, which like that's a solid average, obviously. Bucky Irving had a good game rushing. I just it did not the game as a whole did not make much sense to me, even just looking at the numbers. And then like I watched the highlights because I'm like, what the fuck actually happened? Um,
Right.
I have to give full credit to Washington. Obviously, they like you have a rookie QB. You and I both agreed he's not going to be scared of spotlight. The guy's played in about as big of games as you could play in as a college player, so we weren't scared of that on Jaden Daniels' behalf.
Oh yeah.
And he showed out. I think he played great. He led the freaking Commanders in rushing, which what the heck? But obviously, you had De'Ami Brown play an exceptionally good game. Terry McLaurin, 7 catches for 89. It's just great job by Commanders, man. I mean, first playoff game in a long time. You go on the road against a team that had played well this year, won their division for the 4th year in a row, and you get out of there with a W. But your gift is now going on the road to Detroit, which is scary for anybody. So
Yeah. That's that's gonna be a rough one. And Shaq here says Commanders ruined his bracket. Yeah, I mean, but I really did think that like it was gonna be some Mike Evans heroics and Baker doing some crazy things. But yeah, like you said, I gotta tip my cap to Washington, especially this was their first playoff win in since for how many years? It was a
it
long ass time.
it was a long ass time,
Yeah.
like a long ass time. Well, it was their first
And-
playoff game in a long time, let alone a win. So yeah,
True. And let's see. Their last playoff win was 2005 wild card
yep.
when they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Very interesting.
They won that game 17-10.
I had faith in Jaden Daniels. And like I love Baker, but I just even record wise, I'm like the Commanders were in the better division. Not saying the division was good overall. Obviously, like the Giants are fucking horrible, and the Cowboys really went backwards. Dak getting hurt really did not help Dallas. We know that.
Right.
They would have finished probably closer to 500 than they did had he not got hurt. But
Right.
12-5 for the Commanders in the regular season. Yes, this was a road game, but they had less injuries to deal with as well. They had a more complete offense top to bottom, in my opinion. And Jaden just extends plays with his legs and his eyes. So it makes sense to me that Washington won. That's why I picked them. I did have faith in them, but I'm still like surprised the Bucs were not able to do more on offense.
Agreed.
With the drives they had. So I for the Bucs, I'm sitting here, I'm going like this. Don't take this too hard to be realistic. Like we knew they weren't Super Bowl contenders. Like we just knew that they have building to do still. And then obviously Godwin needs to get healthy and stay healthy for a season. Because that duo is really good. And actually shout out Mike Evans for getting the 1,000 yards before that season ended. So it just, yeah, I mean,
and
they're going to be fun.
What Shaq is saying here is it was my exact thoughts. Like I knew Daniels was going to do his thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It was Washington's defense that I was like, they can be really sus at times. And
I agree with that.
When you have Baker and Kate Otten came back, I believe. I think he was healthy for that game.
Only 2 targets, though. It's just weird.
I know that was strange because he was such an important piece when he was healthy down the stretch. And yeah, obviously Mike Evans was still there. McMillan was doing better. Bucky Irving can do both ground game and passing game. So obviously thought that was going to be a big thing as well. And then, yeah, it just like Jaden Daniels, it's pretty crazy that two teams as close as the Commanders and Ravens are, have 2 quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Like, that's just insane that area gets to enjoy both of them.
You can even include the Eagles for the other proximity. He's just a thicker version too. Like but it literally this just, yeah, like it's wild. That you get, it's like this pocket of, yes, we want this style on our team. Oh, and and realistically, the Eagles have been doing this for fucking forever. Like, I mean, the Eagles are like the OG of it with Randall Cunningham.
Right.
And then obviously you go to McNabb, he could also run. You go to Vic, he obviously was in his prime the best running QB in history. Like his top speed was just a joke. And then you move to Jalen and you're like, oh, he squats 600 and will bulldoze a linebacker if he sees him coming. It's like, all right. And then you have Lamar, who's literally like a mongoose. Like he's so elusive and then a cannon. And then Jaden comes in as a rookie and he's just ready. Oh, because you don't go to LSU and then come into the NFL not ready. That program, as much as they've had their ups and downs coaching wise, like Joe Burrow, he came in ready. Obviously, second year they go to a Super Bowl, and then Jaden clearly is just like here. He doesn't need. There's no testing period. He's arrived. Period.
And that's not even to mention all the wide receivers that are excelling.
Well, but that's what I love looking at the stats. Right? It's like De'Ami Brown had 5 catches, McLaurin had 7, Eckler had 3, Ertz had 2, B-Rob had 4, Zacchaeus had 3. So it's not, I mean, like, obviously you have the top 2 at 7 and 5 with their yardage being the highest, but it's not like he was just singling a dude the whole game like tunnel vision. He was looking everywhere for the best options. And that's like, I can fully see Washington giving Detroit trouble because of Daniel's ability to extend plays just over and over again. And he has the right mix of receivers that can get open on a play that might have seemed broken. Do I still think, like, I think you and I both know Detroit is the better team?
Oh, yeah.
But it's the playoffs, so you have to at least think of the possibility of something wild happening, which I'm obviously thinking about with the Eagles. So,
yeah. And here's the thing, too, is like Detroit's defense is so banged up that they're bound to give up some points, especially to an offense with Jaden Daniels. However, Detroit's offense is just so far and above, like, better than anything Washington's defense can throw out there.
Especially with David Montgomery back.
Exactly, which is huge for Detroit. And Washington has to play literally a perfect game just to beat Detroit. Like, any falters and Detroit's offense is in the end zone, or even their defense is still making plays because they still got a secondary that can make a hell of a lot of plays on the ball.
As much as they are hurt, they have some dudes still that are, like, clearly stepping up big.
For sure.
Yeah, actually, I like Shaq's point here because I have to move this shit. But
yeah, Shaq here says, I think they could give them a run for their money, especially with Detroit's defense being ranked 20th in the league right now, but their offense is a juggernaut. 2 running backs that can go over 100. Yeah, that's huge.
I would expect Gibbs still to get the most carries. Obviously, Montgomery just coming back. They'll use him, but I think they're going to be a little hesitant to give him like the normal workload unless he's fully 100% somehow. And Gibbs has been playing so exceptional. Like, you can give him more and they'll feel fine. But I am very much looking forward to that game because I think it has like fireworks potential, like written all over it.
Oh yeah. It's just going to be, I just think it's going to be a great game. Do I think it's going to necessarily be like super close? Not exactly, but I do think it's still going to be like an entertaining game to watch.
I think it might be close. I don't know why.
I think it could be.
Because I'm like, Goff has had some weird games this year, and I'm hoping that this is not like one of them for him. Because obviously he's played an amazing season, like 4,600 yards, 37 tuds, only 12 picks, but 12 is not that bad, especially when you ratio it. It's 3-1, so it's like that's great. But like, you go to the game log. Let's see. Like, he had that Houston game that they somehow still won when he threw fucking 5, which is nuts. But even against Minnesota, they win 31-9 because Jahmyr Gibbs went goddamn berserk.
Right.
Goff had 1 touchdown and 2 picks. So it's like, that's your last game of the regular season. Then you go into a 2-week, like, just full on practice period. 1 week of that, you don't even know who you're playing yet. Now they do. So it will be interesting. I think I would, if I'm going to say I just did a spread bet on this game,
right,
I would take Washington at plus whatever the fuck they are. That's where my head's at.
My only hang up is this season Washington was the 3rd worst rushing defense in the league.
Yeah.
The only teams worse than them were the Saints and the Panthers. And
the Panthers were statistically the worst defense ever? Points allowed wise, at least.
I think so.
Like,
yeah, they gave up an average of 31.4 points a game. So,
holy crap. Yikes.
But
That's
yeah,
tough.
like Washington on average was giving up 137.5 rushing yards per game.
Yeah, this is a matchup nightmare for
Yeah.
Washington. But the thing I love about the playoffs, though, is so much of that shit goes out the window for no reason.
For sure.
Like just week to week, which that like I am. If there's a game that intrigues me, just for potential more than any other one, it's this like 100%.
I agree.
Because it's what is it 8 p.m. on Saturday? Okay, sick.
I think so. Yeah.
I'll get to see most of that probably.
Cool. And yeah, what Shaq said here is essentially what we're alluding to. It can
That's
definitely be
spot
a close
on.
game, but all it takes is one drive for Detroit to break the game open. That's for sure.
And
And
they're just so creative.
exactly.
That's what makes it tough. So I fully agree, Shaq.
I'm sure everyone who watches the NFL has seen this by now, but we just have to play it one more time.
From 37 to send Washington to the final 8.
Boom.
The Washington Commanders off the upright, and it is
What do you want?
they doink their way to the divisional round. Unbelievable!
Okay.
I get it all now. I even get a division.
No, Kylie, fuck off.
Oh, just insane. Just insane that doink actually went in. That's just crazy.
Agreed.
And then Shaq here says every team's record in playoffs is 0-0. Washington also has nothing to really lose. They're playing with house money. That's a great point too.
Yep.
They have no expectations. Their expectation was, I mean, they didn't even have an expectation to get into the playoffs, let alone win a playoff game. So,
Dude, just hold on. I want to actually just remind everybody. I'm going to look up their preseason projections because
they were pretty terrible.
oh, they were an atrocity, and I know they were because I remember everybody just being like, "Oh yeah, just like cool, they're gonna fucking rookie QB." Like, oh, we're not gonna expect much. La 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 la. They obviously there's like exceeding expectations, and then there's what they did.
Yeah,
like to go 12-5 and go into week 16 still with a chance to win the division. Like, forget just like, oh, we're just here to participate.
Right.
So
for Vegas Insider, it said the opening win under betting odds for the Commanders were 7.5 wins.
they got 12. I mean, but this is why to me, I actually have to backtrack. Playoff hockey is my favorite playoffs. I will fully say that right now. Playoff hockey is insanity, but football's second because you genuinely game to game don't really know what's going to happen. There's a few exceptions. Like with the Chiefs, I think we know what's going to happen. I'd really love to be fucking wrong. But they're a team that always in the playoffs just shows up.
Right.
And they've gotten way too much help this year. So I really need that to stop too, but I don't know.
So we'll move on to the other NFC game. Well, one of the other NFC games here, and we'll talk about your guys and AJ Brown reading a book on the sideline.
I actually love that. I love that from him. I can't even pretend. I think that's hilarious.
It's pretty funny. I loved Jalen also talking about how he's like, I've never seen him read, but I've seen him hold the book before.
Well,
that was hilarious.
I'm just like, why it's I swear to God, it's only Philly where they're gonna just put everything under a microscope to a degree, like this degree. Sure. So I'm like, what fucking discourse do you like? Why are you still looking? They're fine. It was a weird game, fully, admittedly, like weird ass game to watch.
Yeah.
Like Jalen looked like a dude who hadn't played in a few weeks. Period. Like,
oh yeah, he needed to get that rust off.
Yeah, and I think it's off now. So I'm like, cool, we're fine. We get to host another fucking home game. against the team we beat the shit out of in the regular season, and now it's going to be snowing. So that encourages the run game. And just to remind everybody, the last time Saquon Barkley got to run against the Rams, he had 255 rushing yards and 47 yards receiving. So he's going to be putting in that work again. He had 25 carries against the Packers. He'll probably have like 35 against the Rams. That's what I'm fully expecting. Or Gainwell will have like a more than 3. But my full assessment of the Eagles game, the defense played phenomenal again. As much as they're like, oh, Jordan Love just looked like shit. Like you still have to make the play as the defender.
Right.
Slay's pick was clean. Obviously, Mitch Quinion finally got his first pick. And what a better way to do that than in the playoffs. So
true. Yeah,
I mean, obviously you had Devontae with 4 catches for 55 on 4 targets. Love that. Goddard stiff-armed the soul out of that man 3 times to get to the end zone.
Did you see his quote about that too?
I think I did, but if you want to bring it up, go ahead.
He said something about he said he slowed down just so he can come get some. That was that was his quote for that.
Dude, you know what I love too, and I shout out Zach Ertz for being the clutchest player in that Super Bowl. But the difference for me between Ertz and Goddard is Goddard is never an easy tackle for a defender, whereas Ertz would go down at the first sign of contact. So many times, and yeah, okay. Can we just point out for a moment who was the first dude to go and celebrate with Dallas Goedert here? Who's the first guy?
I wasn't even paying attention, but I will see. Oh, is it gonna?
His name is AJ Brown. So can we calm down with this bullshit? Watch this shit. Watch AJ come flying onto the screen here in 2 seconds.
Yes, there he is.
Like literally. Like, please, can we stop?
Yeah. And Shaq also here said the media turned this into AJ wanting to leave or get traded and such. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Look, I still support the Eagles in like a backup sense of the word, especially because of my family. And not only because of that, but also because I'm a fan of all the other Philly sports. I know how especially Philly sports media takes the smallest of things and turns it into the most ridiculous type of drama that anybody could ever imagine.
It's all clickbait. And it's pathetic. It's pathetic because I'm like, why do you need, like, and this is just like me asking the Philly media, why do you need AJ Brown to be Terrell Owens?
Right.
Like, why do you need this situation to be reminiscent of that? And to be fair to Terrell Owens, that shit wasn't his fault. That was Donovan being a bitch, and T.O. just called him out on his shit. So even that was skewed horribly.
And even, I'm not gonna lie, I like Donovan, and even to this day, he still is a little bitch about everything. He still brings it up. He still talks about it as if nothing was his fault. Like, dude, just own up to it.
You were throwing up a fucking can of Campbell's Chunky one at a time on that fucking Super Bowl field, bitch. And like, yeah, I've rewatched highlights of that Super Bowl. The amount of dirt throws he threw. It's like, bro, this whole shit was your fault. What are you pretending?
Yeah,
Terrell went out there. Terrell played on a fucking broken leg and had over a hundo. Like, it's not close. But yeah, I think, like, obviously the Eagles, the practice week is going to be, I know the first, I know I saw they rested a handful of guys yesterday. They rested AJ. I know he'd been dealing with knee issues, so I wasn't really worried about that because I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You need him.
Yeah.
Like you need him on the field as a dude who's going to be covered by the number one. so that Devontae, Dotson, and Goddard can have more opportunities. Just that's just how it works. So
Yeah, it was Saquon, AJ, Cam Jurgens, Mailata, and Josh Sweat all got rest days.
yeah, which I totally fine with.
Yeah, and apparently Dallas Goedert has an illness.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, he should be.
He'll have an MJ flu game if he needs to. He's not a bitch. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Snow games are always fun. I know it's not going to be like a full blizzard, but
the only thing I hated for the Eagles was the Nakobe Dean news.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That really sucked. He was really putting things together.
Like, obviously, giving ball in the green dot, great.
Right.
I mean, he's first team fucking all pro, so that's not going to change too much. Oren Burks, I have faith in. He's the one who set the tone for the game with that hit on the initial kickoff return. So, he's ready to go. So it'll be fine. And we have the rotation still. Like they put Nicholas Morrow, who's already got experience here on the practice squad, and then Trotter Jr. has already played a fair amount of reps and is on special teams, so he can slot in on certain plays. They'll be fine.
I forgot that Morrow was even on the Eagles still.
Oh, they just signed him. They literally.
Oh, okay.
They re-signed him to the practice squad as a extra depth in case shit goes sideways, because you got to be prepped. But yeah. So
yeah,
and to be fair to Morrow, I mean, was the defense good last year? Fuck no, but he was the guy with the green dot, so like he has experience in that sense too. So if they need him, he's here.
And they're not asking him to be the whole defense.
Exactly. I think the Eagles win again. I do. I love the Rams. I love how they played this past week against the Vikings. We could just transition right into that game with this if you want, because that's like the main talking point. But
I will, just before we run into the Rams real quick, Shaq does here say Nakobe going down really hurt me. Fangio and some players hinted that maybe we see Trotter in the rotation. Burks is great, but the missed tackles he had versus Green Bay were atrocious.
To be fair, Shaq, though, there were a bunch of guys that missed tackles on a handful of plays that were just all ugly. So I don't want to just blame Burks, but I feel you. I was also just sitting there like, what the fuck am I watching? Specifically that Josh Jacobs run up the middle where his jersey almost got ripped off. I was like, brother, what are we doing? Yeah, I'd like to see Trotter in there. I would not hate that at all.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, that being said, I also think they'll beat the Rams. I don't think necessarily it's going to be like that difficult of a game for the Eagles, to be honest. Like, I do think that they kind of have it in the bag as long as they come out and execute the things they're supposed to execute. But I will say the Rams, I don't know if it's the Rams surprised me or the Vikings surprised me with how bad they were.
That's fair.
And don't get me wrong, the Rams still did their thing on offense versus a Vikings defense that was one of the top scoring defenses in the league. And obviously we knew they were scoring all the time because of all the choreographed dances they could come up with. So this defense was that was the main point for me that I thought was going to carry the Vikings to this win, was how good their defense has been. And the fact that the Rams came out and just beat them handily, I was just like, you know what? I was not expecting that.
I think there were a lot of moments in this game. Yeah, but I think that's the key point is Matt Stafford. Is you are not going to get him to make the dumbass mistakes. You're not. He's not that guy. He's been in this league way too fucking long. And it showed here. And then the playoff experience showed here. He's not going to feel any pressure in any situation, which is why I think he'll still perform well on Sunday, but the snow is going to make this a running battle, I think, for when they obviously play the Eagles. In this game, the Rams pass rush was just nuts. I don't know what the fuck happened to Minnesota's O-line, but God, like Darnold was sacked 9 times for 82 yards of loss. 82 in one game. Ties the NFL playoff record, 9 sacks. Ties the amount that the Titans put on Joe Burrow in 2021 or 22, whatever year that. Yeah, 21. Yeah. So hell of a performance by the Rams' young pass rush, but against the Eagles O-line, that's not happening in Sunshine. It's just not.
No, completely
it didn't the first time. It's definitely not happening in the snow. That's the other big thing. That field's going to be hard. It's going to be slick. It's outside, whereas this is an indoor stadium. And even if it was in Minnesota, it would have been indoor as well. It was very interesting to watch this game because I picked the Rams because I was just like, you know what? They have home field. It's fake home field, but they have home field.
Right.
And then they have the motivation to win for their city because of all the shit going on.
Yeah, I think that definitely is playing a big part in it right now.
For sure. And then Minnesota, it was like they had a shot at the bye in that final game of the regular season and got shamacked. And then they have to travel and do this. And it's like, it clearly was just not meant to be. And even looking at the numbers too, it's like Jordan Addison had 8 targets, only caught 3 of them. Jefferson had 8 targets, only caught 5 of them. I know these are not drops. They're Darnold missing, but it's just like you have this caliber of offense and weapons and everything, and they couldn't make it work. Just ugly in a lot of ways.
And Shaq, I mean, I agree. He said not to mention it was Darnold's first career playoff game. The pass rush was insane, but it wasn't hard to tell Darnold was nervous. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, he hasn't even come close to the playoffs, let alone playing a playoff game. So, and to be honest with you, the biggest winner out of this game is JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
Like now the Vikings front office, the coaching staff, whatever, they're like, I mean, if say Darnold won like 1 or 2 playoff games, then you start thinking, oh, they're re-signing Darnold. Why would you give that up if it worked so well? Now it's like, all right, hey, he had very good moments throughout the season. He had his best season of his career, but do we really want to pay him that amount of money when we saw him crumble in the playoffs while we have a guy, essentially a rookie, since he didn't play any games in his rookie year? Well, we have this guy who we drafted because we still believe in. Then those thoughts start coming in. So he's definitely the biggest winner out of all of this. But it was just surprising that how not close this game was. Like, even though I expected, like, I didn't expect Darnold to have like any type of like crazy game, but I thought that it would at least be close enough that like it might be a 1 possession game. But yeah, props to the Rams. They really had everything going. They definitely, and the one thing that I think a lot of people do overlook is when you have a cause, especially in the playoffs, that is huge. So now you have the whole passion of, hey, we got to do this for the city that just had this huge natural disaster. And so now you have like times 10 mentality to go win that game.
Yeah. I mean, another winner from this too, honestly, is the Vikings front office because they have options now. Like,
that's true.
You still could re-sign Darnold. I mean, realistically, his stats for the season were still fantastic. And you'd probably have to pay him less now. Based on this, but then you could also trade JJ. I've seen those projections. I don't think they're going to ever do that, but it would, like, it's there. All these things, it's just options they have to think about, which if you are a GM or any of these people that work in this sort of field, it's like, this is an ideal situation. It's like you're not happy you lost, but you can move forward from it and just make the team better. And obviously they're already in a decent spot. 14-3 is really fucking good.
Oh yeah.
So they're not gonna. I mean, they might go like slightly backwards next year, depending on what they do, but I don't think they'll fall that far. But yeah, props to the Rams. But it literally is just a case of now you have to play Philly, and I, as an Eagles fan, I'm just like, please use the home field. Use the home field to your advantage, for the love of God. Do not lose this game. Just go face Detroit, or better yet, if Washington wins, you could have a freaking another home game. But
I mean, that's a good point.
I'm like, come on. I'm looking forward to it, though. I think I always like Matt Stafford, so it'll be cool to have that matchup.
Yeah, that matchup will be fun. So with that being said, let's move on. Oh, and Shaq said Darnold might be a winner financially. Now he has the Kirk Cousins power up. He's going to get some bad team to buy in on him because of this season. Yeah, that's the thing. He put himself in a very good position to get a contract now. So whether it's with the Vikings or not, someone's going to pay him.
This is annoying because I think the team that could logically get him, I think the most likely team to get him, if it's not the Vikings re-signing him, is probably the Raiders. The Raiders would make the most sense because they're not. I mean, what's their pick in the draft? I don't think they're.
They are.
They're not going to get Cam Ward, are they? I mean,
I don't think so. Yeah, the Raiders aren't until 6, so there's still Tennessee, Cleveland, and the Giants, who are all top 3.
Yeah, so it's like you're not getting Cam Ward. You could have an outside shot at Shador, at Sanders, maybe.
Probably,
but I wouldn't lean on that. So
yeah,
you know what I mean. And then obviously another coaching change, which I don't know what the fuck they need. I don't know what it's going to take to fix that franchise. I really don't. It's such disarray now. It's like every single year you're like, oh, this guy left, or this guy wants out, or this coach got fired, or these coordinators got fired. Like you have to at some point just bring in a crew and give them a chance to build some shit.
Yep.
Like you cannot do this revolving door crap. It's what the Bears keep fucking doing, and they're wasting all these QB talents. Speaking of for 2 seconds, because I think if the Steelers are intelligent, you extend Fields for like a $3 million or a 3-year, like $20-ish million deal, and you let that dude play with good coaching, with the same playbook. He'd been mentored by Russ this year, and obviously Russ is not going to get shit done anymore. It's period, end of story. That the collapse at the end of the season, they did not play a single good game for a while. So yeah, but that's like, do that. Have the same crew for whatever QB you bring in, regardless if you're the Raiders. Like literally, just have a coach there for 3 years with the same coordinator for 3 years, with whoever the fuck that is, for the love of God. And if it's Darnold, cool. Because Jacoby Myers had 0 drops this year, so at least he has somebody to throw to. And Bowers is a fucking goat, so it's like he's fine. But the rest of the games in the first round were pretty ugly.
Yes, they were. And the Ravens really made that game ugly, being up 21-0, like right from the get-go, pretty much. And we were talking about stiff arms, and I would be remiss without showing 2 stiff arms from this game.
Sir.
One of them, obviously, from none other than the king himself.
Drive that started back at their own 5-yard line. Now they snap it here on a direct snap to Henry. Well, to the races he goes. Stiff arming his way.
The way he just
Is that Minka?
Yes.
Oh my God.
The way he just bitch slapped it. like in
You saw the
with the
last play,
stiff
that
arm
duo play. Now direct snap.
is
Monty
just
Stanley with a heck
crazy.
of a block. That seal block.
Well, I mean,
Defensive tackle back to the inside. Nice block by the tight end.
I can't be surprised by this man anymore because I'm just like, he's running full fucking
There's the end of
speed,
that
and
play.
Minka's just like casually walking over to him. Like, why are you not already like head first diving at his legs? Like, you know what's coming.
You cannot try to tackle Derrick Henry from his upper body. You just can't.
Not when he's not 25 yards downfield already moving like that. Like that's what I don't get. It's just the logic. Like everybody on the planet has seen what he did to Josh Norman when he tried that shit. Like
exactly.
And that was like 6 yards downfield. He had a full head of steam right there. Like I saw the numbers from this game. I was working when it was on, unfortunately.
Right.
For the most of it, but the run game, bro, holy, it
was insane.
To look at this stat sheet and say unironically that the Pittsburgh Steelers had 1/10 the rushing yards that the Ravens had in a full football game is bananas. But that's what happened. Like, the Baltimore Ravens as a unit ran the ball 50 times. 50. Actually, and all right, shout out Mark Andrews for having 2 rushes. What the shit. But
yeah, their version of the tush push uses Mark Andrews.
Amazing. Love that. But yeah, I mean, you just look at these numbers. Lamar Jackson is a quarterback. He's quarterback. He had 15 carries for 81. Stud.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously Derrick Henry just went Super Saiyan all over them. I mean,
Shaq said if I was Mink, I would have started praying.
oh, he might have been. He forgot to finish the prayer before he got too close, and we saw how that went. So,
but
yeah, I mean,
there was one drive. I think it was a 12-play drive, and they were all 12 plays were run plays, and it was like Derrick Henry got like the first 2 or 3. And Lamar just decided, oh, we're just doing options for the rest of this drive. And Lamar took the ball after like Derrick Henry broke off a bigger run. Lamar took the ball for a good 4 more times after that, got a bunch of yards off of that. Then they get it back to Derrick Henry. And then there was the big picture. There was a lot of people sharing it that shows the gravity of Lamar Jackson himself. And it was the one play that Derrick Henry scored on. And oh yeah, here we go. Let me bring this up. I don't know if there's any sound. No. So there was this one play here that just shows how crazy everyone watches Lamar.
can I give you a score update real quick before we play this?
Yep.
Because I'm actually blown the fuck away.
Of the Thunder game?
Yes. 112-73, and it's not even the end of the third yet.
Yeah, I have it on in the background right now.
My iPad is like, for angle wise from the camera, it's like right here.
Yeah.
I always have a game on when we're doing this, but I'm like genuinely shook right now. OKC is horrifying.
They took it personally, that last loss to Cleveland.
But I'm loving this from them, man. I know this like a quick tangent, but like I have to when you're seeing a game like a score like this, I have to call that out. This is crazy. They're up 40 on the best, like one of the highest, like best records in the entire Eastern Conference. Just shitting on them right now. I love it.
They still don't even have Chet Holmgren. He's still hurt.
Yeah. And then it's like they have 3 firsts this coming fucking draft. Insane.
Pretty much.
All right. Let's see some wild shit from the Ravens again.
So yeah, this has been on a lot of like film tape recently. So this was the play that Derrick Henry scored, but look at the 3 people that followed Lamar. Like, just Lamar going that direction took 3 whole defenders because you have to know where that man is at all times. And now Derrick Henry has 2 blockers here. Linderbaum got up to Patrick Queen. Mark Andrews is taking care of this guy, and he has an easy lane and just outruns everybody.
Yep.
Like,
and also like the baby stiff arm on Queen's arm to get a little speed boost.
oh
Love
yeah. And just like the fact that Lamar can just like attract almost the whole defense, and the fact, look at Lamar over here. He runs the entire way to the end zone to celebrate too.
But for Lamar, it's literally like as soon as you're 2 seconds into that play and he sees he baited 3 guys off, he knows exactly how that play's ending.
Exactly.
So that's why you just see him immediately start hauling ass down the field because he's like, yeah, I get to celebrate now. Like,
Yep.
I love that shit.
He knew it right away. Oh, and Shaq, having SGA on your fantasy team is a great call. Great call.
Oh, bro, he is yeah, his numbers right now. He's got 40 even or 43 now, which Jesus. Yeah. Shout out Clippers.
Yep.
What the fuck are you doing? Oh my god. We really want Paul George. We think SGA and a million first-round picks is what Paul George is worth. Lol. Bummer.
Yeah, I wish the Sixers didn't get Paul George, but that's another topic.
At least we didn't trade. Well, it's not like we have draft capital, but at least we didn't trade the non-existent draft capital we have for him.
True. That would be like trading Tyrese Maxey for him.
Now, I literally would be fully fine with like trade every fucking person except for Maxey and Jared McCain. Like at this point, I'm like, some drastic shit's got to happen for this franchise to do a damn thing. So,
oh yeah, no, I agree.
And beat for a packet of freaking butterscotch crimpets. How you doing?
The other stiff arm I have to show, Isaiah Likely.
Let's go.
Just decided to become a grown ass man
from Coastal Carolina.
Like,
Mac,
he bounced him off the ground.
Bro, that's not stiff arm. That's assault and battery. Holy shit.
Like,
I did not see this one yet, so I am admiring because he just destroyed that man.
That's like literally dribbled him off of the ground.
This might be the first recorded concussion as a result of a stiff arm. Like, this is Baltimore in January. That field is rock hard.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know who that is. I'm about to check who that is.
Damn, dude.
Number 20, right?
Yes. He fully gets an inch off that ground off the bounce of his entire body.
That was Cam Sutton.
God dang. Cam Sutton, your career's over. I'm sorry, bud. Yikes.
Yeah, that when I saw that stiff arm, I was just like, holy shit.
I love that from Isaiah Likely because, like, obviously there's been so many moments this year that didn't go his way.
Oh, yeah.
But we know how good he is. So, fuck yeah. Like, that's awesome. He had a great game.
He did. I mean, both him and Mark Andrews led the team in receptions, unsurprisingly. Yeah. But also, shout out Bateman, first career playoff touchdown.
I love that his career arc, like, it's been a slow burn,
right? But
you can just see the improvement. Like, it's just so clear.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, just shout out Ravens play calling. You're missing Zay Flowers. Obviously, that's a huge fucking deal. So you're going in this down your number one receiver. You have to really get creative. And they just said, you know what? They can't stop the run attack. They just can't because who can? The combo. And look at the results. I mean, that's beauty. This was an as old school a game as it gets. 50 rushes to 21 passes. is a wild ratio for the year that we're in. Like, that's
I know.
insane.
I'm
But I
curious the
love
last
it.
time that's happened.
I guarantee you it's been a fucking eternity. Like,
Oh yeah.
because even you look at like this the Saquon versus Rams game, it's not like he had a million runs. He had probably a normal amount, and 2 of them went for 70. So it's like, this is a unicorn, but unless Flowers is coming back, it's a unicorn that's going to show up again, because I think they're going to have to really lean on Derrick Henry, but that's what he wants. That's what Henry feasts on. He wants the contact. He wants the carries, which is why everyone admires him, because it's not like, oh, he's King Henry because he's just a big dude. It's like, no, because he's the best running back in the world as far as pure runner goes, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Nobody can destroy defenders like he can.
The sheer combination of size and speed with him is just honestly insane. Like freak of nature type of
Yeah.
stuff.
But
Like
that's
the
why
LeBron of the NFL type of stuff.
Yeah. You like, well, I'll do another analogy that everyone will probably really fucking hate. But when Brock Lesnar was in the UFC,
Oh yeah.
when
That's
he
a good one.
first got there, no other heavyweight could move like him at like not even close. And it was one of those just like you're in awe when you first saw it kind of things. And
Right.
even in WWE, as scripted as it is, they're all athletes. And when he was
Oh,
there,
yeah.
it was just literally like, holy shit. I think Brock was a combine attendant. He actually did the NFL combine, and I didn't know that. I knew he was on the Vikings for a little bit.
Right.
But he's like, I think his combine height and weight he was like 280 pounds, and he ran a sub 4.7.
That's just scary.
I was like, what do you mean? And then I look at Derrick Henry, I'm like, they're similar sizes, like muscularity, like, and Henry just does this shit. He outruns the whole defense if you let him get up to speed. That should not be possible. It just shouldn't, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's insane. I'm still pretty much like, it still doesn't feel real that he act like it just doesn't feel
Okay, you're back. Oh, well, it's the contract too. You look at the contract and you're like, holy shit.
exactly.
Like, man's is not getting paid enough.
And Shaq says that's the formula to success: winning at the line of scrimmage and
Yeah.
giving your workhorse 40 carries. Yeah, exactly.
In the playoffs, that's like, that is literally Shaq. If I don't see that out of the Eagles with Saquon in the snow, I'm going to be pissed, because that's exactly what needs to fucking happen. The defensive line is not going to have the ability to make the moves that Saquon is capable of, period. And our O-line is good enough to make holes still in this kind of weather, and we're more used to it. Like,
Hopefully,
our O-line, most of our O-line are vets, and then even the guys we just signed as free agents, like this past season, Becton played in New York. He's used to this shit too. It's not like this is going to be otherworldly to them. So
right.
I'm looking forward to a running game, just old
And
school.
I mean, hopefully Derrick Henry does the same exact thing, because in Buffalo it's supposed to be super fucking cold. And there's always a chance of snow in Buffalo. You never know when
yeah.
there's going to be snow. But it's supposed to be like in the between 10 to 15 degrees with wind chill. So like I'm sure it's going to be a run heavy game. So I'm hoping it's a lot of the same thing.
They're gonna need to because obviously the Bills had that snow game already against San Fran, and it was not a close contest.
Right.
But it is a case of they went run heavy in their own stadium because they know how that works, and that was the formula. And even looking at the Bills numbers from that game, they only had 38 carries. I think the Ravens could literally just rinse, repeat, do the same shit, and just beat Buffalo again. It would make sense to me, because this is just facts. Lamar is better than Josh Allen. If Josh Allen wins the MVP this year, it's a fucking farce because Lamar is first team All Pro, and there's one fucking QB for that, and it wasn't Josh Allen. So I would expect Lamar to have a similar game in terms of rushing. The tight ends will still, I think, be the main targets again because that is what makes the most sense in inclement weather. And I think Henry should have just a stupid amount of carries again. I mean, literally just chip at the defense. Like, if you're gaining 4 or 5 yards a carry, you're getting first downs, period.
Right.
And that's literally all you need. You don't need flashy big plays. You need to just be getting first downs and burning clock. The Ravens, obviously, with such veteran leadership in the coaching staff and on the field, they don't have that kind of ego of, oh, we need 50-yard bombs. They don't give a fuck. They just want to win. So, especially the Ravens, for Lamar, too, it's like, I know he's at a point mentally. He just wants to win. It's not, he doesn't give a shit how.
Right.
He wants a ring. So,
and Derrick Henry is the same mindset.
Oh, yeah. Derrick Henry, there's no way that dude is going to ever give up on any play. So, that game's going to be badass. Especially in bad weather. This is gonna be a snowy weekend, which is great.
By the way, Derrick Henry at the combine was 250 with a 40-yard dash of 4.54.
That's not okay. That's not okay. That's illegal.
Shaq says the only reason Allen could win it over Lamar sadly is because of voter fatigue happened to Jokic. Yeah, that's the thing. It happens. Like LeBron probably should have won MVP like his first 8 seasons. But yeah, voter fatigue is definitely a thing in every sport. And, you know, as a Ravens fan, to be honest, it is what it is because even Lamar is like, look, I don't really care if I win MVP or not. I want to win a ring. So if that's their mindset, I'm fine with it too. I was big in Embiid winning MVP because I was like, I don't fucking know if the Sixers are going to win the championship or not.
Yeah. I'll be honest, when that was all going, I knew they weren't going to win because the second round is the enemy.
True.
But yeah, I just, in the case of Lamar, I'm like, he is a degree of great that is above everybody else at that position, in my opinion. Like, I'm a fan of him just as a player. I'm like, but just statistically, 41 touchdowns to 4 picks. Are we kidding? Yes. Are we kidding? And then it's like, that's just passing. And then you go to stats and you're like, let's just go ahead and take a peek at rushing. Got it. He had 915 fucking yards. Brother. Like in my mind, it is not close.
Almost 5,000 combined yards is crazy.
Yeah. I don't think it's close. I really don't. Like, Allen had only 28 passing touchdowns, that's 13 less, and he had 2 more interceptions. And then you look at rushing as well, and he had over 400 less yards. Stop. It's not close. But that'll be the narrative of this game. 100%.
Oh, definitely.
The announcers will bring it up way too much, and it's going to piss me off.
It's all anyone's going to talk about on social media. That's going to be the whole thing.
Exactly. And just because we live where we live, and this is the unfortunate truth of this country, the color of their skin will be brought up by people on the internet because, of course, it will.
Yep.
Fuck all those people who want to bring that shit into this. That's really irritating. Please let that shit die. People are people. That's how I feel about it. But yeah, I want to see good games, man. I don't want any blowouts because I think blowouts are fucking boring. That's not what the playoffs should be about.
Blowouts are only fun for the fan of the team that's winning.
Exactly. For the fans of the other like 29 teams that are just view it because we love the game, that shit sucks. Exactly. And there's potential for a lot of good games this week, which you and I are hype as fuck for.
1,000%.
Yeah. And I'm like staring. the Flyers were down 1-0 for an eternity, and they're up 3-1 now, and I'm hyped. So
Oh shit. Shaq says, I honestly think Baltimore is the strongest team in the AFC. Pass defense lacking, but no one wants to play them, especially Kansas City. Yeah. I mean, that's been my biggest worry for this postseason is the defense because of how shaky they've been all season long. However, they have been better the last 5-ish games of the season, and then obviously against the Steelers. But a big thing was shifting Kyle Hamilton back into the safety. They got Marlon, they got another all-pro season out of Marlon Humphrey, which is huge because the defense was at its best when Marlon Humphrey was an all-pro the last time. So that's always big. Roquan doing everything Roquan does. So it's gotten better, but that is still also my worry because look, Josh Allen is Josh Allen. He's a great quarterback, but the defense is always going to be my biggest worry. So,
but I think what I like is in the unlikely event, like it is very unlikely that the Texans are the team to go into Kansas City and win that game.
Oh yeah.
And to be honest, I think the NFL really doesn't want that shit to happen. So if there's some bullshit calls, I won't be shocked. But because obviously the cinema is set up if Kansas City makes the championship game again, because they're playing two teams that want to fucking beat them, regardless. Like either one, Buffalo or Baltimore, both of them want to beat the shit out of the Chiefs. So, the AFC storylines are juicy.
I forget who it was. I feel like it was probably Ray Lewis when they went to go play the Patriots one time in the playoffs. But I think it was him who said, hey, look, we already know the refs are against us. So we have to beat them by so much that the refs won't even matter.
Yeah. I feel like that would be Ray Lewis saying that because especially when you play his style, he's a guy who played with such brutality that he expected penalties on him in unfriendly territory just by default. So if that quote was him, I wouldn't be surprised.
I feel like it was.
That's why I love fucking Ray, though.
Oh, he's the fucking man.
It was so annoying my whole life, man. Because my dad was like irritating. He's like, "Oh, I think he killed those guys." I'm like, "Well, I've actually looked into it, and he didn't fucking do shit." But let's just get that the fuck out of your head. He's the best linebacker I've ever seen, and it just the end. I mean, he could do everything, and then. Yeah, just watching the Ravens was so fun for so long. Like, what the fuck do you even do? The game plan against Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs. What do you do?
And then you have Ed Reed just waiting right there.
It's like, all right, we figured out the linebackers. Now what? Oh, that bummer. Like
when you hear the fact that Tom Brady, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play, wrote on his wristband to locate number 20. That's when you know you're fucking badass. And that's the guy that's all the way back there. That's not even Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs or Haloti Ngata even.
I remember seeing I have no idea what year it's from, whatever, but Belichick was on a panel and Ed Reed was there. Mm-hmm. And Belichick he played the full clip because he literally was. He said to Ed Reed's face, "You are the best safety I've ever had to coach against." Period. And he brought up this clip. It was Ravens versus the Colts before Peyton left, and he was like, "This is the best play I've ever watched. Like, just best read by safety ever." So Ed Reed runs to the middle of the field away from the X receiver to bait Peyton into throwing to him. And as he sees Peyton pull his arm back, he just fully turns, goes and picks it off. And it's like 50 yards downfield. Like the fact that he's running full speed, head turned, looking at the quarterback that far away and just goes, yep, turns and perfectly times it. And Belichick was like, I've never seen a better play than that by a safety. That was just so flawless. And it's like, not only could he do that, if he hit you, you would feel it 3 weeks from then. Like it was just he was everything. Which is what I think. Like Hamilton could develop into, I'll say 75% of that,
Right.
because he has the football IQ. He makes the right reads. No one is really going to be as physical anymore as like the guys we got to grow up watching. Like we had such a group. Like I had Dawkins, you had Reed, there was Palomalu, Ryan Clark, who we've always talked about, was just out here trying to take heads. You're like, all right, but it different game now. But Hamilton's a stud for forever. Like he's a guy who should be a Raven for life. And if they fuck that up, I'll be pissed for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
I'll be pissed for you.
That's
By
all I'm gonna
proxy.
say.
Like, don't let that happen, please.
And Shaq says, "Man, the pass was incredible. After Baltimore's juggernaut defense, we had the Legion of Boom shortly after.
Oh,
yeah, that was another huge.
And
defense.
Chancellor, there's a fucking murderer. Holy shit!
That
Thank you
defense
for
was
reminding me of
crazy.
him. And Earl Thomas being the ball hawk, but dude, anytime, yeah. Thank you for reminding me of Cam Chancellor, because that dude was out there killing people. He was like the last of the murderer safeties that were trying to
Bobby
actually
Wagner.
end careers, and then the rules changed. It's
And
like,
then
oh,
Shaq says Kyle Hamilton is the best safety in the league. Yeah, man. I'd like Hamilton. I think can do like at his once he hits his peak, will be able to do everything Ed Reed can do except the ball hawking. He'll do everything else, but the ball hawking is like a specific special Ed Reed skill. That's something you don't. That's not taught. That's just like naturally brought about. But anyway,
the only other safety that I would put in, that I would argue for, is Antoine Winfield.
Oh yeah, he was,
because he's just insane. But yeah,
the Bills cakewalk through the Broncos. I had so much hope after the Broncos scored that first touchdown.
Yeah,
and then the Bills just destroyed them from there on out. Really, this game, I mean, there's not really much else to say about this game other than the Bills just stomped on their neck. They're like, yeah, cool, you got that first touchdown, but settle down now.
Yep.
So yeah, they I mean, it went pretty much how we all thought it would go. Nobody really gave Denver the actual hope. However, I think this looks good for Denver's future, because now you get Bo Nix that first playoff game experience. And not only that, but you got the touchdown from Troy Franklin, so another rookie wide receiver. You got some of your other younger guys involved throughout the season. Marvin Mims Jr. started to look good as the season developed. And now you look into, like, for me, what that team needed the most was a solid starting running back. That's like the number one piece in my head that they needed, especially because I was listening to the Fantasy Footballers podcast and they brought up a good point. Sean Payton has always had a do-it-all running back. Yeah. He's had the Mark Ingrams, the Alvin Kamaras, the
I'll go further back. He had Pierre Thomas. He had Reggie Bush. He had Chris Ivory. He had like a slew of guys down in Nolans.
Exactly. Guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield, guys that can turn the burners on if you give them the ball. Like, he had all of those guys, and that's nothing close to what they had this year.
No. Javonte Williams, Audric Estime, and Jaleel McLaughlin, not one of them was able to step up when given the opportunity. And yeah, it is a case of, like, I think Denver really wishes they probably sucked more, because
true,
this year's running back class is pretty fucking good. So I think the homeboy from Arizona State could be on their radar if he declares.
Scatabo, whatever.
He would be a fucking unit in Denver. Like, he would be a unit anywhere, but because Denver has that need for that sort of versatility in that position, I mean, he's like ideal. So
that dude has that like psychotic maniac personality.
But that's why I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, if we make mock drafts, I think I already know who I'm saying Denver's taking. Right. I just might lock him the fuck in, because it is such, like, their O-line was not it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. And then you
Right.
obviously have a crystal clear number one receiver. Like Cortland Sutton's a beast.
Oh yeah.
And you just got to build around him now. So Marvin Mims had some moments. Obviously, like you said, Troy Franklin, rookie receiver, who had rapport already with Bo, but it's like you got to just build now. And
Right.
it seems like they're in a good position to do that. And the coaching's not going to change, which, like we said, is such a big deal. And I think Sean Payton with Bo Nix is a duo that could be really scary for a long time. So,
yeah, agreed. And right now, I can just tell you right away in the 2024 season, this actually includes postseason as well. On PFF, the Denver Broncos, number 1 in pass block grade, 83.6.
Yeah.
The next is Tampa Bay at 83.3. And then if I go to run block, they are 10th. So they're still top 10, but obviously their running backs just aren't great. So they're not utilizing that run blocking.
yeah.
But
Because that says so much. Like you have a top 10 run blocking team and all your running backs didn't do shit. Like time to clear that room. I think you keep Estime's the youngest, has the most potential athletically, I think. So he's like a guy that I could see staying as the duo to somebody better going forward. But yeah, they have work to do. And they know they do. I mean, they performed really, really well. We saw a lot of great rookie QB play exceed expectations this year. And obviously Bo at the top of that. So
and like they already have a good defense. They had the sack leader, I'm pretty sure, in what's his name? I'm forgetting his name right now.
well, I know the Bengals had Hendrickson and he was close to being the sack leader. Let me see.
It is Bonito.
Hey,
That's what I was thinking of.
let's go, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. So yeah, Benito had 13 and a half.
Yeah.
He was third.
Yeah.
He was third.
Oh, he's third. Okay.
Yeah. Garrett had 14 and Hendrickson had 17 and a half this year. How about Kyle Van Noy in fourth? Stud.
I know, that was surprising. Yeah, Benito was in the race for it. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, to have the guy at number 3, and then you also have the guy at number 12. They had 2 double-digit sack guys.
And then you have Pat
huge.
Surtain.
the best CB in football. Yeah.
Exactly. So like
actually, holy shit, they had the guy at number 22 as well with 8.5. So they had 3 guys pretty much in the top 20 because there's 1, 2, 3. There's 5 guys tied at number 22 with 8.5. So like realistically, no, their future is looking really, really good. Like really good. Because even like Riley Moss on the other side of Surtain is extremely young still. Like, yeah, they can really, honestly, they can really only go up. Like it's almost, they're in a situation where it's almost impossible to fuck up because their core is so young.
Yep.
So nice.
Yeah, so they have a lot already riding for them on defense. So literally like the running back, a little more O-line, maybe a tight end. Like,
yeah.
And you shore up this offense and you can really get things rolling. Because even the special teams with Marvin Mims as the returner did very well. So that was big in and of itself too. So we get to the last AFC game that took place, and that was the Texans, which obviously surprised both of us because both of us had the Chargers winning. Honestly, we were thinking pretty easily. But we weren't expecting
the Spanish Inquisition. Please tell me you get the reference.
Yes, I do. Like, I would have never expected Herbert to throw that many interceptions.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I was so confused because I remember I put the game on and I see that initial score. And I'm like, okay. At early it was going how I thought.
Right.
And it would seem like I put it on and just shit. Maybe it was me, but I put it on and it just went fucking awful. Like for the Chargers from that moment until the end of the game, like nothing worked at all.
Mhm.
Nothing. And I am surprised because we now have to sit here and look at Herbert like, do you have playoff jitters every time you're there? Because you've had chances now. Like, this isn't your first time. You've been there a handful of times, and you don't have a win yet against anybody.
Yeah.
Granted, we know that they are not offensively deep whatsoever. And obviously, McConkey, he had a fucking phenomenal game. So
Yeah, he did.
In my head, I'm like, okay, if all those picks were to players that were not they were all in plays where McConkey was not targeted. Because even you said I texted you like, what the fuck happened? And you were like, not all of them were on him. I'm like, okay, that makes sense to me because Quentin Johnston has hands covered in butter and Josh Palmer doesn't even have hands. So I'm like, okay, fair. We knew they still had offense to build. We knew that. And they knew that. They made a way bigger step than I think we thought with Ladd McConkey. He's 100% better than anybody thought he was going to be. We knew he was going to be like good. Right. I think he's great. They can improve from this, but it was still shocking. Like the initial shock value of seeing 4 picks next to Justin Herbert when he played such a clean regular season. I think that's where it goes crazy. It's like he legitimately had, what was his, what were his actual stats during the season, picks wise? Because I know he didn't have a lot.
He had 3.
Yeah, so he literally had more picks in one playoff game than he had the entire regular season. Which, holy fuck, by the way. That's insane.
Yeah, he led the league in interception percentage. It was only 0.6%.
Impressive. But that's what kind of broke my brain, because to go 17 games with only 3 picks and then you get into a playoff game against a team that's been struggling.
Yeah.
And that happens but this is what I mean with the playoff football thing. It's like this shit occurs. Like, you just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I forgot, or not forgot, but I didn't see this earlier. Shaq said Estime reminds me of Kenny down in Philadelphia. Not a number 1, but a great number 2. I could kind of see that, like a Gainwell type of role. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Because Gainwell offers you a lot and performs when called on. So
right. And even the guy they brought in who ended up being the 4th string, he was an undrafted guy, Tyler Bidet. He even had some moments that were decent. And if you keep him on as a 3rd string, I don't mind that at all. But yeah, you definitely need that number 1 guy. That's for sure.
Bidet, tough last name, man.
I know. And the thing is, it's spelled Badie. So in my head, I'm like, oh, Beatty, Batty, something. And they're like, no, Bidet. I'm like, damn.
He's out here spraying assholes. That's tough.
And Shaq said, my logic for that game was that the Texans defense wouldn't be that bad for that long. We saw flashes early season that they could be competent, really young, great defensive front. No, that's true. I thought the defense was going to be great for a long time. Because last year they showed really good moments and really good areas that that they could be something very, very good, especially with Will Anderson Jr. That guy's a fucking beast.
Even the corners, it's like Stingley's young as fuck. Kamari Lassiter's 21. It's like they're young in a lot of places that matter.
And Jalen Petre's 25 or 26.
Yeah. So a lot of it during the season could have literally just been like Stingley's a vet now, like in his own right, because he's that good.
Yeah. Right.
Lassiter is, he's brand new to this shit. So it's like, all right, he needs some time to just get his feet wet. And clearly in the playoffs, he played a phenomenal game. So I think he's there. But it is a case of like, you now have to go to Kansas City against the Chiefs. And let me just consult ESPN because they have the projected temperatures on here, which I love. It's going to be 25 and probably windy as fuck. So it's going to be like 10.
Of course.
So, but that's KC every time we get to this part of the season. It's always frigid as fuck. So,
right.
But yeah, like they are going to have to step up just as much, if not more, against a deeper receiving core that has veterans. Like as much as DeAndre Hopkins isn't putting up numbers, he's still on that sideline. And then you have Marquise Brown is healthy now. So it's a lot to deal with. And Kelsey is Kelsey. I don't care if he's had a down year. It's playoffs now. You better bet your ass he is going to be on it. So,
and they have two competent running backs now. Like they have Hunt and Pacheco.
I think Hunt is so much better than Pacheco too. I really do.
Pacheco has not been the same since he returned from that injury.
No, but I think Hunt I think he's just better anyway. I don't think Pacheco was ever better than Hunt, regardless of where they were. I will stand on that rock too. Hunt is a beast that fucked up when he was with Kansas City, and if he had never been forced out because of that, Pacheco would not be relevant right now. He never would have been drafted by them, and where he would have been drafted probably would not be as good as this situation. So I think
that's true.
Hunt will get the ball a lot in this game. I think he will because he just tanks hits. So,
and yeah, Shaq also said, not to mention they get back Hollywood. They have Worthy and Hopkins. Yeah, and Worthy literally is the big play home run guy.
They have speed. They have veteran leadership. They have durability. Like in a lot of these guys, they can, obviously Kelsey takes hits. Justin Watson is just a decoy half the fucking time, but the dude can sneak up on you for 5 catches in a game out of nowhere. They're a scary team, and that's why they've won 2 in a row. They're going for a 3-peat. I hope they don't fucking get it, but they can.
Exactly. Jack said they have the referees. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying.
Hold on. Let me here. Say whatever you're gonna say. I'm looking up the thing.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the last topic that I just wanted to touch on, kind of briefly, is all the coaching stuff. Like Mike Vrabel apparently confirmed to sign with the Patriots and go back to coach them. I do I feel bad for Gerard Mayo because you get that one season with a terrible team and you're out of there. There it is. Good old Chiefs referee jersey.
I hate it here.
Oh God. But yeah, I felt bad for Gerard Mayo. I thought it was hilarious that the Fox post game guys cut off Gronkowski right when he was about to lay into Robert Kraft for the whole Gerard Mayo thing. That was hilarious. And you give the guy a terrible team that's supposed to tank, and you give him one season and fire him right away. That's some bogus shit.
And let's say it like this too. You give him that shit team, but a quarterback that you drafted correctly and is exactly as good as you fucking thought or better than you thought, and he won you some games, and then in a finale of the year, obviously you would want to lose that,
right?
But if you're, I can't remember his name. I knew he went to fucking Tennessee. What is his name?
Milton.
Yes, thank you. Why would he not want to ball out?
Exactly.
It's his one chance to fucking play all goddamn year. Why the hell would he just be like, come on?
Right.
It that is not on coach. It's just not. And I just, it's cracking me up right now. I'm like, let me get this straight. You're going from one former Patriots linebacker to a former Patriots linebacker. Good.
Of course.
Good for you. Like, good job.
Of course.
I am upset that Fox did that with Gronk. I'm like,
Oh, they should have let that. It would have gotten so many views.
thank you. I'm like, you literally lost ratings because you were like, let's be PC. Fuck off. Let Gronk rant on a shit owner in a racist ass city, because that's another thing that's come up with this. And in this case, I think it has to.
Right.
Boston is factually one of the most racist cities in the US. You have a black coach for one season who does, and he had an insurmountable mountain to climb. It was like the Everest of coaching, right?
Yeah. We
could say that. And you just can him like 10 seconds after that final game. It sucks because I don't think he did that horrible a job. It's like being given a chessboard and you're missing all of your pawns.
Well, it's like if the Sixers fired Brett Brown after the first season of the process, giving him literally nobodies.
Yeah. Well, and Shaq, what you just said, I think 100% they're in a better spot with Vrabel, because Vrabel will be able to bring in better coordinators and a better staff because of his experience already.
Yeah.
And obviously, like with Tennessee, he was a great coach. They had great seasons with Tannehill there. Hated that they asked Vrabel, what would it be like to have AJ Brown in New England? That ain't happening, sunshine. Go fuck yourself. So, like, that's not a thing. So we're not going to worry about that. But because I already saw Robert Saleh was one of the top candidates to come in as DC under him, and I'm like, yeah, that would be actually an insane duo, insane duo, because they have some defensive pieces. Christian Gonzalez is really fucking good. So.
And they showed the stats that the Jets defense was one of the best in the league, but before they fired Saleh. And then once they fired him, the defense went to shit too. So,
but Woody, what's his fucking forehead, is an idiot and just decided to fire him for no reason. Because, yeah. Saleh was not the issue, and the players even vocally exclaimed that.
What's his name? Ben Johnson, right? From the Lions. The offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He's definitely getting a head coaching job somewhere.
Yeah.
He's definitely getting one. Even the D coordinator, I'm slipping his name is slipping my mind. But
I can picture his very handsome face.
Yeah, and he's got like the like blonde little chin hair.
Yeah.
I could see him getting a head coaching job too. I just want to bring up my frustration though with the whole coaching carousel search.
Please.
I hate that they can interview people during the playoffs. Just
thank you.
Like the free agency period, when you have a specific time period to do it, do that with head coaches so that the playoff coaches don't lose out on like their spots to get a head coach. Like, I'm not trying to put those other coaches ahead of the line in front of the playoff coaches, because they deserve to get their fair shot. So why don't we make it a specific period, just like free agency, right when the Super Bowl is over? Because I get this notification, and it's like, Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken interviewing for the Jaguars head coaching job today, and then going to interview for this job on Friday. I'm like, he's interviewing on Friday when he has a playoff game 2 days later? Like, what kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah. Well, all right, Shaq, my one response to that is I did not want Gannon back, so that was fine. But like, Kellen Moore's got requested to get interviewed by the Cowboys.
Right.
And I'm like, say fucking no, for the love of God. Just say no, please. Because A, I don't want you going back to Dallas because you had the number one offense when you were there, and that was annoying. And B, we have shit to worry about right now, and they're on their couches. So
exactly.
But Kellen is a realistic candidate now, because Dion already kind of came out and was like, I kind of really like being in Colorado right now. So that sucks, because I'm as an Eagles fan, I'm fucking sick of the coordinators changing all the time. Like, Fangio's not going anywhere, thank Christ. But I want an offensive coordinator to be consistently here for Jalen, because that's what he needs, because he's never fucking had it. So it's like that's what's so irritating is you see how good this team is. Obviously, Jalen was not like the superstar this year, but in previous years, he obviously like that Super Bowl performance in 22 was one of the best by a QB literally ever. Give him some consistency and stop. Like, why is it not tampering? If it's tampering for players, it should be tampering now. Stop this shit. It's dumb.
Yeah.
These coaches.
I hate it. And
Yeah.
like, I know they're not like this whole week. I know they're not 100% doing every single thing for the playoffs of every single day. Like, I know that's just not reality. But the fact that you have to flip your brain to go to an interview is completely different than having your brain on what new things can I draw up this week? How are we going to beat this team? Let's study the film, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Now your brain is thinking like say you interview and you do really well and you like get the let's just say like Todd Monken gets the Jaguars job. Now he's like, ooh, how do I work with Trevor Lawrence? Ooh, how do I work with this guy and do this and do that? Instead of just focusing where you're at. Like, it's just, and that's just natural, like, human things. It's not like I'm like saying, oh, Todd Monken's unable to multitask. It's like, no, that's something anybody would do if they get a head coaching job for their first time. And I agree with you, especially from the Ravens standpoint. You have Mike McDonald coach the defense to the number one fucking defense in the league, and then he leaves. And then for over half of the season, the defense was god awful. And don't get me wrong, shouts to, oh God, everyone's name is fucking slipping my mind. Shouts to the Ravens defensive coordinator for turning things around once he like realized he could flip some people around there. And also with some advising help from Dean Pease. But like, now Todd Monken is getting these interviews after this is only his second season in Baltimore, after we finally got out of the fucking prison that was Greg Roman, who couldn't draw up a passing play to save his fucking life. Then you bring in Todd Monken, and it was a breath of fresh air. And like, seeing some of the things he's drawn up for this offense have been amazing. The offense has not been this good since Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, we're going to have to start all the fuck over again. And who knows who the hell they're going to get at that point. And so I agree with you. The consistency with that is just, it's so nice. Like, look at, we obviously have to bring them up because they are who they are. The Chiefs. Spags has been there for how many years with Andy?
Yeah.
Like,
well, even think about like before they moved on from Bieniemy. Like, he was there for like years and years, and they were successful with him for years and years. And it's like, obviously they have such a core and they have a head coach that's so good, literally, in my opinion, the best coach ever. Like, you can probably put most people under Andy and you're going to be fine, because he does a lot of the play calling a lot still. So it's like,
and that's another thing that matters too, though, is like, depending on your team, your coordinator might be the one calling the plays, or your head coach might be the one. And if you are a team where the coordinator is calling the plays and actually designing the plays, you need that fucker to stay.
Yep. Like, Exactly.
So if you're the Ravens ownership, it's like, you are going to be like, oh, you can go to these interviews, but we want you back. Like, just make it as clear as slide him a check under the table and don't report that shit. Like, it doesn't matter. Do it.
Right. And yeah, Shaq says you completely lose focus on what's important by getting asked how you like the weather in Jacksonville. It's absolutely pathetic how the league does this. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Duval. No, fuck Duval.
And it just like that just really kind of like ticked something in my brain when I saw the notification come across that he was getting interviewed like mid playoffs. But like it's also a shout out to Andy Reid, like the type of coaching tree that he has produced. And it's because a lot of those guys did stay for a while and learned under Andy Reid and kind of stuck with the team, worked their way up, had those years under their belt and went on to become head coaches. I mean, even John Harbaugh was the special teams coach for Andy Reid in Philadelphia. And there were who was it? Sean McDermott in Buffalo was an Andy Reid coaching tree. There's like 2 more in the playoffs that I can't think of off the top of my head, but they're all coming from that same Andy Reid coaching tree, and it helps that all of these guys were together for at least a few seasons and getting things down before moving on into their respective head coaching positions. But obviously, the other team's still looking for coaches. We now have Mike McCarthy looking for a job. The Cowboys and Jerry Jones, they decided to deny any interviews coming in for Mike McCarthy, but then they're like, hey, your contract's done. Peace. And so Mike McCarthy's out looking for a job because he said he's a winner. He can't coach for a team that's a loser. So
that's funny.
Yeah. And not like the Raiders are obviously looking, the Jets are looking. I will say this about the Giants. I respect the fact they kept Dayball. Man got coach of the year. I think he is a solid coach. You just don't have anything close to the talent you need to win.
You have a shitty GM.
Exactly.
He's fucking awful. I'm sorry. So like seeing the Hard Knocks of them, brother, the mindset of the people in that office. If I'm the owner, I'm like, get the fuck out.
Yep.
Get out.
Agreed.
Because it's like Neighbor's great pick. No one can throw to him. They signed O-line over signing Saquon, and then their O-line sucked. So good job. You let Xavier McKinney leave, and he goes to Green Bay and is close to the interception leader, if not the interception leader. Like just brain dead. So
stupid.
What are you gonna do?
But yep, that is all the topics. If you want to run up the good old Immaculate Grid.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get this one faster than the last couple times.
Let's see what we
We
got.
were struggling.
Okay. Well, the Ravens are on here, so.
Oh, okay.
Doink.
Willie Snead. No, I'm just kidding.
Joe Flacco. Bang. Bang.
True. Joe Flacco does definitely count there.
Hey, he counts everywhere. He counts here too. Let's put him here. That's actually funnier. I have to do it now.
I like that.
I have to do it now that I said it. Bang! Oh, God.
Good old Joe Cool.
What a guy.
Oh, by the way, Shaq here says, if I'm the Giants front office, I just sell the team to the local crackhead at 7-Eleven and move down to Italy.
I'm in. Sounds good.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's great. I love that. We could just do easy ones. We could just try and do a speed run for once. So Aaron Jones.
True.
Ravens Colts. Gotta be a receiver.
Well, Ravens 10 plus sacks. We actually just talked about him, Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, we could just do that.
Because people will probably go for the legends first. Oh, I thought that said 0%. I was like, wait, it just straight up 0? Good old Reggie White.
I mean, they were all straightforward.
Green Bay and the Colts. Wasn't there a linebacker that definitely played for both? He was like late 2000s. But like I can't think of Packers linebackers, to be honest.
Did AJ Hawk, Clay Matthews, Holy fuck.
I think AJ Hawk only played for Green Bay. I don't know.
think that
Did
is
Clay only play for Green Bay too?
no. He played for the Rams. I know was where he ended.
Oh, that's right.
Ravens Vikings is annoying because they have the same fucking colors. So in my head, I'm like, let me decipher that.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to think of that one. Ravens Vikings. Oh, wait. I have to see if he suited up. Hold on.
Okay. I'll let you cook.
He did not suit up in the regular season, but did he suit up in the postseason? Dalvin Cook for Ravens Vikings.
Dalvin Cook.
Yep. $17? Really? He played one game for the Ravens.
Holy frick.
Shaq said, I think Ted Hendricks played for Green Bay and Indianapolis. Ted Hendricks? Let's see. Yes, he did. Baltimore Colts. Does that count?
No. Because they became... Oh, my God. I don't know. You said Green Bay, right?
Yeah, he played for Green Bay.
That should count. It counts. That should count.
Nice.
Bang!
Good shit, Shaq.
W.
Why can't I think of Ravens Colts other than Joe Flacco?
I'll hit one. It's gonna take me a second. Wait. I might have one. I have one.
Who is it?
Dallas Clark. Bang!
Wow, I forgot about Dallas Clark.
I didn't.
That's a good pull.
My boy. For some reason, I'm like, he was a Colt literally his whole career except for 1 year. And I was like, I think it was the fucking Ravens. I don't know why I knew that, but I did. Vikings Browns is such an absolutely horrendous duo.
Yeah, that's
One of the quarterbacks has to, because there's been a fucking trillion for both of these teams. Oh, Case Keenum, right? I am almost 1,000,000% positive. Yeah, bang,
yeah.
done.
Case Keenum.
I'm like, I know he's a Viking because the Eagles beat his ass in the championship game on the way to their Super Bowl. And I was like, he's probably a Brown because they signed every backup in the history of football.
Damn, that really was a lightning round.
Bang! I love how they don't have a picture of Reggie White or Dallas Clark.
I know.
Like,
But have Case Keenum.
greatest defensive tackle / defensive end in the history of the entire game of football. Can't have a pick of him. Nope.
Of course
Played
not.
for two of the most storied franchises, like oldest franchises in the Eagles and Green Bay. No pick.
And also, like, hold on. How old is Dallas Clark? Is only today is actually Joe Flacco's birthday, so happy birthday, Joe Flacco.
Maybe that is why they had this combo, because there's always like kind of a reason, but
Joe Flacco's only 5 years younger than Dallas Clark, and you're telling me he doesn't have a photo either?
we need to highlight this because this will help us in the future. Playoff game. So if a guy literally, but literally just the fact that he could have been signed like as a free agent at the very end of the season, only play in the playoffs for a team and then sign somewhere else, it still will count no matter who it is, where it is. That's huge.
That's actually why I brought up Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
The only game he played was a playoff game for the
But
Ravens.
the fact that works will help us now because
Yeah.
this shit does happen.
For sure. Shaq said was going to blame the non-picture on racism, but Dallas was a white man.
Fair.
God.
Living in America.
But by the way,
I clicked NBA to see what they put on here, just out of curiosity. 5,000 assists. Jesus.
where
My God.
I was just trying to get back to Ted Hendricks. I love the nickname, the Mad Stork.
Well, they had so many better names back then.
That's a great nickname.
My favorite Philly nickname of all time is Chuck Bednarik.
Oh, yeah. His
Concrete Charlie. Like, come on now.
His was great too. They were always better back in the day.
Yeah, because they were like, we don't give a shit.
I love how I type in Chuck Bednarik just on the top bar, and it's his name is the first search, and the second one is hands because his hands are legendary. Have you seen a picture of his hands now? Like before he passed away?
I don't remember.
I am showing you this because they are atrocious.
Oh God.
I'm gonna have to like control zoom on this fucking thing because this picture is tiny as fuck. But look at these hands, my dude.
Look at that pinky.
Oh.
His index finger, middle finger, and pinky on that hand on the left side, all are fucked. And then
Oh.
Yep.
And here I thought my broken pinky was janky.
Yeah. What a unit. He has so many insane pictures too. There's a picture of him with a cigar in his mouth, like hanging out of his mouth, and a cigarette in his other hand. Like he's dual wielding tobacco products. Like,
that's insane.
I know.
Dude, there's still people at the gym that like there's the older guys that are there that definitely stare when I am doing like bench or something because I go to put like my hands on the bench and like this pinky just doesn't straighten anymore.
Okay.
So like I go to like put my hands up and they're just like they like see this pinky and they're like, okay. And they see this one, they're like, what the fuck is going on?
oh my God.
God.
Have you watched any of Jason Kelsey's new late night show?
I have not. I've been meaning to.
I watched so he has the full episodes with the like behind the scenes on his YouTube channel.
So you see like what they were doing during the commercial breaks, and it's actually like so much better because they're talking to the crowd and everything.
Right.
The first episode they have Lil Dicky, Brian Baldinger, and Charles Barkley as the guests.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then the second episode, the main guest is Joe Buck and his wife, and it's awesome. But on the first one, because I think Charles has some fucked up fingers, they literally showed like a collage of fucked up hands in sports history. They had Ronnie Lott because he cut his own pinky off to stay in a game, which is insane.
That's just outrageous.
Yeah, it was hanging off, and he was like, "Well, if I remove it and you cauterize it, can I stay?" And they were like, "I guess." And he was like, "Okay, slice." I don't need that. It's fine.
Could you imagine if they did that today?
Oh, it'd be ridiculous. They'd be like ban the NFL from every television ever. This shit is crazy. And this dude did this in like the 80s, and it was like, I mean, I celebrated. I'm like, that is a will to win that will not be replicated. Period. Because holy crap. But it was really cool. And Baldinger, he came up, he went like this. He's got like his pinky's like fucking here, like going downwards.
Oh my God.
It was like
And conveniently Shaq said the old days were definitely some crazy times. NBA had plumbers dropping 30.
Jesus.
Oh, definitely crazy fucking times, man.
Well, yeah, all the sports now have McDonald's workers dropping all this shit. They just don't know they're McDonald's workers yet.
Exactly.
They've yet to be told.
But looks like that is here for us this week. We might be doing, I mean, we probably will be doing other days other than Mondays, Shaq, by the way, because I have a volleyball league that now is on Mondays. So we'll see what rocks with the schedule the most, but Tuesdays, Thursdays, something.
Do you have? I'll ask this way in advance because I requested off for Super Bowl Sunday. Do you have plans?
Super Bowl Sunday, I don't think so.
Okay.
I have to check. There's just been like brief things thrown around. That's like really about it. So
cool. Let me know.
Okay.
I will just make the open invite now.
Okay.
You can come here and we'll just have it set up. And that'll be obviously it's better to watch the Super Bowl with people.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah. I figured I'd request it off and I put in the note. It was my mom's birthday. Her birthday's really fucking close, but it's not that. And I was like, please approve it. And I got approved. And I was like, yes, they didn't check the damn NFL schedule. Let's go.
Hopefully they don't watch.
I get scheduled like every fucking double on Sundays too. Like I will be at work when the Eagles play this week and I'm fucking livid.
Oh yeah. Shaq says he's coming also, by the way.
He's close. He's close enough. He fucking could. That would be hilarious. Just get the viewers to show up. Be like, what's up, dude? Oh my god.
And he said, awesome. I got notifications on. I'll be looking forward to it. Cool. Yeah, we will definitely also. I'll make sure that I'm not lazy and I actually schedule the live stream well in advance.
Yeah, and at least that way, anybody in your situation, Shaq, will
Yes.
actually be notified.
Yes.
And then in about a month, or I'll say like 3 weeks ish, once the Super Bowl is over, that's when I'm gonna start pumping videos out again, leading up to the draft. And then we'll do our draft spectacular. Hopefully, again, I'll request off for draft night number 1 once I've checked the date. We can do that again.
Yeah, when is the NFL draft? Did they already say?
It's probably announced because they always do it in advance.
Yeah, April 24th and through the 26th.
Okay, I'm assuming it's what, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I can request off on Thursday easy. They won't miss me on a Thursday.
Yeah, and I should be around. I just will have like maybe a 1 month hold at that point. So
true. Yeah, well, I was gonna say if we can figure it out. However, if you've got to bounce early, I'll go the whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll get there when that happens. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Shaq. We appreciate you tuning in, especially, man. We really do appreciate that. Thanks for talking some football and just sports in general with us. We appreciate that a lot. If you guys want to just listen to it in podcast form, you can get it everywhere you get your podcast. We also put the video on Spotify, so you can watch that on there as well. And, of course, we are here on YouTube. Hit like if you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe if you like our content and our weird jokes and things. And hit the bell, let you know when we go live. So
we love having you. We love having you, Shaq.
We love having you, Shaq.
Literally.
Glad you love being here, too.
The interaction is always fucking awesome because it just gives us shit to bounce off. So always appreciate you.
We thrive on that. So we appreciate that. So, Shaq, have a great night. Have a great rest of your week and weekend. We will see everybody next week. Peace.
Peace.